And we start by directing the question to you. What is your personal brand? Because this is what we are trying to create for you guys. Name brand recognition. We want your prospects to know who you are. I don't care how long you've been in the industry, Matt. You've been 20 plus. Jeff, you've been 20 plus.
Yeah.
We could still argue not enough prospects know who you are.
Yep.
Right. And so we could always use more prospects. Now, here is another reality in today's world. Business is about who knows you today. I know when I got in, Matt, Jeff, you were probably the same. It was all about the Rolodex. Who do you know? I started at Northwestern Mutual in a college internship. And if you guys remember that, what they had you do is write down 100 family and friends. Who do you know? Today, it's changed. Business is very much about who knows you. I had a conversation with an advisor last week who's in a market. He goes after a very specific niche industry, but he's in a market where he feels like it's saturated. He feels like he and his competitors are going after the same business, saying the same things. And I said, when you find yourself in that situation, business really becomes who knows you. This is when you have to lean in to be the one they see the most. Because if you feel you're all saying the same things, if I see you the most, you're going to become my de facto go-to expert. And that's what we want to do. Now, this is where our industry has a big challenge. If you do not stand out, you are always going to get passed up for the recognizable name. Matt, where did you come from? Mercer.
Yeah.
Very recognizable, right?
Yeah.
I bet you won some business sometimes off the logo.
Absolutely. Deep bench, and we sold the firm.
Right? Well, Newfront, large guys, you're at one group. You don't have that advantage anymore. You can't just say, hey, look at our logo. We're the biggest in the industry. No. And if we don't stand out, if we look anything like them, they will get picked 9 times out of 10. It's just why it's like in the health insurance space. No matter what we want to say about Blue Cross Blue Shield, guess what? It's a recognizable logo that makes consumers feel warm and fuzzy. So this is key. We have to find a way to stand out. In fact, the next slide is nobody has been fired for hiring these guys. No one's been fired for hiring Aon or Mercer or Gallagher. Even though you know you do better than them, this is the safe choice. Instead of looking like a vanilla ice cream cone, what I want to help you guys do through this academy is look like this. Who does not want to be the hot fudge sundae? We want your prospects looking at you and saying, I don't know what that is, but that's different. I need to find out what this is. And that's done through your message. If there are 4 questions I want to help you answer in this academy, these are the 4 questions that I think drive effective marketing. And by the way, guys, when I say the word marketing throughout this course, think of it, interchange the word marketing with prospecting. The 4 questions are, who am I talking to? What am I saying to them? How am I saying it? And where am I saying it? That's what we're going to get clear on. Who, what, how, and where. Now, those answers might be different for each and every one of you. But as long as you build a system with a good message you can repeat with confidence, it is going to work. And I'm going to give you a little secret. There is no perfect process. We need to have a process. And that's what we're going to build today. So let me share my story real quick, because most of you, I've only known you guys for very short length of time. So I've been in the industry 22 years. I shared my early story of being a failed advisor early on. But in 2014, I made a very big change in my career. My Amy, so I got 2 Amy's in my life, Amy Essig, an employee, and Amy, the girlfriend. We moved from Wisconsin to Colorado. And I quickly realized I had a big problem because I was working for an independent agency who up until that point really had not leveraged marketing. The agency was built by one producer, the guy who owned it. He had been the producer and hired a bunch of account execs, and they just grew over time. And I was the first true producer he had really ever hired. But worse yet, I found myself in a market where nobody knew me. And I said, oh crap. I have two choices. I could do it the way I was taught, which was to pick up the phone, to pound the pavement, to network, or I could try something different. And I decided to try something different because I hated cold calling. I knew the pounding the pavement wasn't going to be as effective as it used to be. And I said, I got to try something different. Here's what I did, guys. I went outside the industry and I said, what are they doing? What are other industries doing with marketing? And I took the concepts and I brought them back to my own prospecting, and they worked. And I remember sitting, Amy, you might even have been in this meeting, Amy. I remember sitting in a meeting in our conference room at Vogue Bell. It was our sales meeting. And I asked a simple question: what is our marketing strategy? And the table was full of teammates. And I remember when I asked the question, everybody looked at me without an answer. They just kind of stared back at me because they had never thought about it. Up until that point, I was like, well, just pick up the phone. Just send emails. Like, what are you talking about? We don't need marketing. And that's when I realized this industry, this is the problem here. And so what I decided to do was build my own marketing strategy that I'm going to teach you throughout this course. And this marketing strategy was built on two pillars. Who am I talking to? Because not every prospect's a good prospect. And I need to take this message and get it in front of as many people as we possibly can at one time. This is the name of the game. How are we going to cast a wide net with our message? Here's a great example. Any of you guys can answer this. If I pick up the phone today and I call one prospect, how many prospects can I call at one time?
One.
If I go pound the pavement, park my car, and I go door to door, how many doors can I knock in on one time? That's linear awareness, right? If you just do the math today, anybody know? Do you guys know how many calls it takes today to get a prospect on the phone? Any idea?
15.
Close, 18. Now do the math. If I want to reach or get 10 prospects on the phone, how many calls do I have to make?
150.
180, right? If it's 18.
Sorry, I think. Yeah.
Yeah. If I'm really good at it and I do that a call every 2 minutes, leaving voice messages, that's 6 hours to reach 10 people, to get 10 people on the phone. Now, we're still going to talk about picking up the phone as part of this course, but what I am saying is we got to find a way to say, wait, how do I get one message in front of a lot of people at once? What if I can get one message in front of hundreds, if not thousands of people at one time? That's how I start using my prospecting time effectively. And that's what starts to check the box of that credibility, which not only gives you what you need when you walk into a meeting, it will have people reaching out to you. And who would not love to have an inbound lead? So what I'm talking about is reputation leads to relevancy. This is what I learned, but when we moved out to Colorado. When I built my brand and I said, here's what I'm going to put out there to the market, if I did it long enough, it would create relevancy. I became relevant in the market. So here's what I want you guys to think about right now. If I gave you a sledgehammer, okay, and you were standing in front of a brick wall, and I said, you need to find a way to poke a hole in this brick wall, knock a hole in this brick wall to walk through, what would you do with the sledgehammer? Would you take it and hit all parts of the brick wall so it finally knocks down, or would you focus your efforts on one part of the wall and hit it over and over and over again?
One part over and over.
You hit one part of the wall until you break through, right? What does that have to do with you? My goal is to help you move from an unknown entity. And I say unknown, not that nobody knows you. We're saying more people can know you. And I want to put you in the position to feel unstoppable. And the key to doing that, if that line in the middle, that gold line is the brick wall, we're going to make you become known for one thing, very few things. One challenge we have in this industry is we can help all prospects do anything. No. That's what makes you sound like the vanilla ice cream cone. What we want to get really good at is saying, all right, when I think of Matt Richard, when I think of Nick, when I think of Jeff, he's the go-to on this. That's how we create this name recognition. I'll give you some real life examples. Anybody know who Gary Vaynerchuk is? Gary V? Anybody ever heard of this guy? Okay.
Yeah.
He's a huge social media influencer. He's known for marketing. He's got one of the larger marketing agencies down in New York City. But what's interesting is he's got all these businesses today because he's got brand recognition. But he started out as the guy who sold wine at his dad's liquor store. That's how he became known. He sold wine at his dad's liquor store, and he started a whole video YouTube channel on it. He became known as that. And then once he broke through the wall, he could do anything. That's what we're talking about is instead of trying to go wide and far on who you serve and what you do, I'm going to challenge you guys to get really focused on what you do better than anybody else. What is that one thing? If I give you the choice to only become known for one thing, what is it? And we're going to get into that here in a few minutes. So this is what we've got to determine. We've got to start by asking, who are you? Here's what I want you to think about, though. This is the key. I talked about the misconceptions of what a personal brand is. It's nothing more than your reputation. It's not some fancy logo up on a wall or bright colors. It's just your reputation. How do you want the market to talk about you? And this might seem obvious, guys, but why I think it's such an important step one in this process is I have watched too many producers sacrifice their reputation for the sake of revenue. I've watched too many producers try to act or be anybody they have to be to win business. It's not the point. It's not the point. The point is you want to show up as you, your unique brand, and go find the prospects that love your brand. I'll share this story, a quick story on this topic that I just saw the other day. So I started my career with Federated Insurance after Northwestern Mutual. Anybody heard of Federated before?
Yeah.
Sold, I sold everything, business insurance, commercial insurance, health, disability, life, you name it. Well, I was in Wisconsin. There was a producer in Illinois that had his territory down there, and he was lauded as our industry, our regional all-star, superstar, because he came out of nowhere and was just selling things left and right. And I'll never forget this. We had our regional kickoff. We always had it in around Thanksgiving. And I actually roomed with him. I'm like, oh, I'm going to get to learn from this guy. This is awesome. And he started telling me in the room one night what he was doing to get sales. And I'm like, this guy's shady as hell. Like how he's winning business is so unethical. He went on stage the next day and told everybody how he did it, but he told a load of BS. Check this out. This is about reputation. I'm not kidding you. Over this last weekend, I Googled him. It's like, I wonder what this guy's up to these days. He just got out of jail with a 4-year sentence because he built his own insurance agency, but was scamming people out of premium dollars.
Wow.
Reputation, guys. I'm like, wow, this guy went from region all-star because of what he was doing. I saw what he was doing, said, yeah, that's sacrificing reputation for revenue. And he just spent 48 months in jail. So This is what I mean about never sacrifice reputation for the name of revenue. So we're going to start doing some exercises now that I want you guys, this is the workshop part of today. And we're going to get, because it's 3 of you, we're going to have time to go around and talk about this too, which I love. So here's the first question. What makes you unique? You personally. Now, before you write it down, before you think about it, I want you to think about it this way. If there's one thing your competition cannot replicate, it's your story. It's your story. If I said, all right, knowing that, what is one thing that makes you unique? I want you to write it down.
What if we don't know what makes us unique, Andy?
I want you to write something down. We'll workshop it. Just give me something, and then we'll get. You'll see where this is going. You already told me something unique about you, Jeff.
Nobody's ever bought insurance from me because I won the national championship 26 years ago. But I
We'll
hear
talk
you.
about that. We'll talk about that. You all told me something unique already. That's the funny part. We already accomplished this in a way at the beginning of the call. Most likely, by the way, this uniqueness should have nothing to do with your business. And as you guys are thinking about this, what's so funny is when we do this with people, I'll give you a great example. I just did a workshop at a conference a couple of weeks ago, and I asked this question, and a guy couldn't come up with anything. And I pushed and I pushed. I said, really, there's something. Give me something about your past that makes you unique. And he literally went like this. I actually used to be an actor in movies, but I'm like, that's a beh? How many advisors are former movie actors turned advisors? None. But he went, nah, nobody cares. Everybody cares. And you're going to see how we're going to use this. So Matt, what one thing that makes you unique?
So I came up with authenticity. I am authentic, and I'm the same person on the weekends with my family as I am on a Monday morning, as I am in a prospect meeting. They're going to get consistent throughout.
Now we're going to go a layer deeper. You'll see why this is important, guys. This is an exercise just to give you ideas. What did you share with me at the beginning that is something unique about you?
Passion for Corvettes.
Okay, write that down. Passion for Corvettes. That makes you unique. And I'm going to come back as we're done here. You'll see where this makes sense. Nick, what makes you unique?
Well, now I'm kind of second guessing mine because you said it probably shouldn't be related to the business, but the one I wrote down was I have a degree in risk management and also in underwriting, so it allows me to be
So
able
I
to
went to
relate my
college.
class.
I actually went to college for this stuff.
Yep.
But if I said, all right, just let us get to know let us get to know Nick a little bit. Tell me something unique about you, Nick. What did you tell me earlier?
I love to travel.
Love to travel. Write that down. I love to travel. I know that doesn't sound totally unique. You'll see where this makes sense here. Jeff, what about you?
I don't know. I wrote, I'm a hardworking problem solver.
Okay. That'll come up here when we do an exercise in a few minutes. But if I said, Jeff, give me something really specific, I want you to write down, won a national championship playing lacrosse. Just write it down.
Okay.
Obviously, lacrosse is a big part of your family, correct?
Yep.
Okay. Here's why this question's important, guys. We're about to answer a second question, but this first question helps create this for you. To win business today, you have to create likability and credibility. You can't have one or the other. Here's why. If all I do in business is create likability, here's what happens. I get caught in the friend zone with prospects. They like me, they take meetings, but they'll never take me seriously enough to hire me. Anybody ever been there early, maybe more early in the career?
Oh, yeah.
Prospects like you. they'll take a meeting with you, but am I actually going to sit down and say, all right, it's time to go to work and hire you? That's why my first 10 years were terrible. I was a likable guy. The flip side is all I focus on is credibility. If I don't know who you are, I'm not sure I like you. Yeah, I see you're smart. Probably not going to hire you either. If we focus too much on credibility and nothing else, this is where we lose a piece of business or an opportunity to someone we know we're better. Like, him? Really? They won the likability game. If it was just knowledge and you know you're smart, you'd win a lot more than you do. Got to have both. What makes you unique is what helps the likability side. So here's what I'm going to pose the question to the three of you. Matt, whether it's Corvettes, Nick, travel, Jeff, lacrosse. When you think about those hobbies, sports, passions, have they taught you lessons about life and business?
Yep. Say so.
Matt, give me one example. What is being a Corvette fan and growing up with a dad who was as well? What is something it's taught you?
You know, Andy, it's funny you say that because I was just thinking, I'm always thinking about what is my next LinkedIn post going to be, right? And we talked about this. I mean, Newfront is just modernizing the industry with technology.
Yep.
So I went back and I said, okay, what is the horsepower of my dad's 1970 Stingray? 300 miles per hour. What is the horsepower of my 2001? 350 miles per hour. What is the base horsepower of a modern day 2023 Corvette? They look like freaking supercars out there. 490 horsepower. The thing that changed, technology. And so to me, it was simple as that. You need to modernize as time and technology advances.
Homework assignment, make that post.
Okay.
I want to see that post. I want to be tagged on it by the end of the week.
All right.
Seriously. Nick, what's one thing travel has taught you about life or business?
I'd say being able to deal with people of many diverse backgrounds, and navigating, unfamiliar situations.
Navigating unknown situations when you have language, culture barriers.
Yep,
You have a picture from Iceland?
I do.
Making a post about that by Friday.
Okay.
This is what I love about the smaller groups. I can literally assign you homework immediately. Hey, Jeff, what's one thing lacrosse has taught you about business or winning the national title, whatever? What has it taught you about life or business?
Well, I guess, you got to put in the hard work to get the job done. As I think, as long as we're doing a puff piece about how awesome I am. I also won the state championship in high school, but before we talk about me the whole time, I also want to say that my senior year, we lost the state championship, and my sophomore year, we lost in the national championship. So I've been, top of the mountain and then lost at the top of the mountain to fall all the way down. the mountain.
Okay. Let me ask you this. Do you think greater lessons came out of the national, state, and national championships or the state and national championship losses?
I think a lot more about losing the state championship my senior year than winning my junior year.
There's your post. I want you to make a post saying what a lot of people don't know about me is I played high school and college lacrosse. Was fortunate enough to win a state championship in high school and a national championship. But you know what? What most people may not know is I also lost a state championship and a national championship as well. And I actually learned, I want that post by Friday. Here's what happens, guys. Why I'm challenging you. And we're not even close to getting to the LinkedIn module yet. But why I'm challenging you on this is what starts letting prospects get to know you. Now, what it's not about is Nick taking a picture on his travel saying, look at me, aren't I cool? I'm in Iceland. What Nick's saying is, I love travel. And one of the things I love about it is going into unknown environments with culture barriers, whatever, and being able to navigate. It's a lot like what you sell, Nick, isn't it?
Yep, absolutely.
That's the whole point. If it's a personal story that ties a good business lesson, guys, that is gold. And here's why this is so important today. Matt, you know Dominic, right?
Yep.
That's what Dominic's doing with the rucking.
Yeah.
He started that ruck group in Cincinnati, and it's bringing business executives out. When you show people who you are, you let them get to know your life a little bit, but it teaches them at the same time. It's starting to build that likability with them before they ever met you. And we can all agree, guys, it's harder to connect with prospects and build relationships today than it's ever been. But if we can start doing it even before they meet us, so that when I walk into their boardroom for a meeting and they already feel like they know me, I have a huge leg up on the competition. So what I want you guys to think about, I just had you come up with one example about what makes you unique. But this is why it's important for you to understand what makes me different than my competition. And the punchline is, it's your story. They can't replicate that. Now, we got to answer question number 2. What do you do as well as anyone in the world? Now, I'm going to have you replace the word world with market. What do you do as well as anyone in your market? This is the thing you do that when you do it, you are a level 10 out of 10 confident. Maybe it's the thing you want to become known for in your market. What is that one thing that you feel you do better than anybody else? Maybe it's on the benefit side, it's
specific to your
self-funding
job.
or, oh, go ahead.
I was gonna say, this is specific to your actual job, so now we're talking about.
Now you're getting into your profession. Yep, absolutely, Matt. So what's the one thing you do in your market, in your job, that when you do it, you know you're awesome at it? You got to brag, Jeff. I'm sorry. You're awesome at it. You're a level 10 out of 10 here. And if you could do this every day, you'd be living in your zone of genius. Matt, what is that for you?
So I put expertise in all areas of employee benefits. Doing it for 20
I'm
years.
going to challenge you a little bit, if I can. Let's get a little deeper than that. There's with all things benefits, is there something you love to do?
Yep. So I love to help employers create a multi-year strategy in their benefits and also create guiding principles that are a barometer for where they want to take their benefits direction. Many employers
so you want to become known as the guy who is, there's nobody else better in that market with multi-year strategies. Boom.
Yep.
Write that down. That's your thing. Nick, what's your thing?
I guess I would say I'm good at picking apart a policy, just pointing out gaps in coverage and making recommendations.
Ooh, gaps in coverage. Put that in. Gaps in coverage. You're the guy who's going to be the gaps in coverage guy. You want to know what's in a policy and not what's not? Nick's your guy. Jeff.
Well, I'm not sure that do it as well as anybody, but I like to think that I can, that I'm smart enough to take the complex, complex either self-funding arrangement or complex information and turn it into like a format that's easy to understand. I'm like an insurance translator.
So could I say your strength is communication, communicating complicated, making the complicated simple.
Yeah.
Okay. Write that down. That's a good one. There's a lot. That's one of my traits. I love communication and taking very complex subjects and making it so easy for anybody to understand. Here's why I bring this up, guys. Remember that brick wall you want to hit through? Create name recognition? Matt, if you had said, I'm just going to become all things benefits, that's trying to hit all parts of the wall. But if now you get hyper focused on, I am the multi-year strategy guy, now we're starting to focus. And here's where this starts setting up future. When we get to the what and where are you saying it, the content strategy, whether it's social media, email, phone scripts, you name it. This is what you're going to become known for. I imagine a day, Nick, where you're sending out emails to your prospects and all you're sending out is like case studies of coverage gaps, case studies where a company discovered they weren't covered here and you found that. Become known as this person. Jeff, you're going to constantly be taking complicated subjects and educating them to your prospects in a way like, I love how he said that. Does this make sense?
Yeah.
So what we're doing now as part of building your brand is we started with how can we make you look different and let prospects get to know you. Now we're shifting to professional and saying, what are you going to become known for? Matt, if I said to you 80% of your week is going to be focused on meeting with companies, helping them develop a multi-year strategy, and creating content that teaches people how to develop that, how would you feel?
I love that. It'd be
In your zone of
tremendously.
genius.
Yep.
Nick, 80% of your week's going to be focused on helping companies cover gaps in the plan or creating content that teaches them where to find it.
Yep. Sounds good.
Yeah. You're going to spend all your time in front of groups teaching complicated subjects or creating content that teaches them the complicated subjects. You guys would love it. Here's the problem. We don't spend enough time doing. One of our biggest challenges we have in this industry is the only time you get to display this knowledge, this zone of genius, is when you're in front of a client or a prospect. But are you in front of a client and a prospect 5 times a day, every day? No. What we're going to build in your content strategy, or your prospecting strategy, is how you can be in front of them a heck of a lot more and living in your zone of genius. Make sense?
Awesome.
Cool. Now, last question, last exercise. It's a bad time of year to do this because we are far removed from the NCAA basketball tournament. But for my NCAA basketball fans, Matt, who's your team in college basketball?
Syracuse, of course.
Aren't you guys orange as well?
Oh,
Yes.
Yeah.
You guys all happy they got rid of Boeheim finally?
Yeah, it's about time.
It was about time. Okay.
Yeah.
They're the most mysterious team. They're that team that can be 15-13 and then make a run in the NCAA tournament.
Yep.
Unbelievable. So we're going to have a tourney bracket here. Here's what I want you to do. I need to answer this question. If your favorite clients were talking to your top prospects, but you were not there, what would you want them saying? Keyword want, not what you think. What would you want them saying? So here's what I want you to do. You're just going to make a list of words or phrases, top to bottom, no order, no particular order, top to bottom. And I want you to use words and phrases to describe you as a human being, not just the insurance professional, a human being. What would you want people saying about you? Make a list. You get to control the message here, the narrative. What would you want people saying? Try to come up with 6 to 8 if you can. When you're done, Just put your pen or pencil down and kind of look at your camera so I know you're done. All right, Nick, you're up first. Just
Okay.
go right down that list.
Proactive, honest, passionate, cares about my business, available, knowledgeable, hardworking, and reliable.
Perfect. Jeff,
Reliable, helpful, hardworking, innovative, experienced, good communicator, honest. That's all I got.
awesome. A word that needs to be added to yours, because I've already seen it. Humble. Matt,
Hardworking, honest, expertise or expert. Those were my primary three, but then I also had family man, loving husband, authentic, fun.
okay. All right, so now it gets tough. You've got a list, 6, 8. This is where we start playing the tournament here. So your list looks like this, right? You got top to bottom, no particular order. Here's what we've got to do. I want you to take the first two, the top two, and I want you to think about this. If you could only pick one right now, which one are you picking? So it might look like this. I had smart and follows through. I pick one, follows through. If you could only pick one right now, which one wins? Then I want you to go down, do the same thing with the next two. Which one wins? And then repeat that process till you get to the bottom of your list. Now, if you have an odd number, that word phrase at the bottom has nobody to play. So in true sports fashion, it gets a bye and it automatically goes to the second round. Now you should have a set of words, phrases that have made it to round 2, right? What I want you to do is repeat that until you get something that looks like this. Just keep playing over until you come to the one word. If you could only pick one word or phrase right now, which one would you pick? All right, Nick, you got your word?
Yeah, I just looked up and you have the same one as me at the end.
All right, so yours is honest.
Yep, it was not by design.
Jeff, what is your word?
Honest got upset by Richmond in the first round, so I took, I did reliable.
Reliable. Matt,
Authentic.
authentic. Cool. Here's what I want you to do. Somewhere on your paper, and there's a space in your workbooks as well. Just make a list, 1, 2, 3, 4, a quick list. 1, 2, 3, 4. That word is number 1, the first word of your core 4. Now, here's where the game, it's important you see this part. Once a word wins, take it off the board. Get rid of it all the way back to the beginning. It's already picked. It's gone. So just cross it out all the way back to the beginning. Every other word or phrase should stay right where it's at. But all the way back at the beginning, that word that's won probably had another word it beat, right? You've got to advance that word now and play it all over again. So just replace the word at the first round, leave everything else where it is, and replay until you come to another winner. Nick, what do you got?
Reliable.
So we've got honest and reliable. Jeff, what do you got?
Humble.
Reliable and humble. Matt,
Hardworking.
hardworking. Awesome. So now you are authentic and hardworking. I'm going to have you do that 2 more times today when we drop off the call. It should take another couple minutes. But here's the point, guys. What we are building is your core 4. These are the top 4 words and phrases that you would want the market using when they describe you. The punchline is these words now become your judge and your jury. Your job is to never go off brand. I want to make sure this version of you, how you want the market showing or talking about you, is how you have to show up. Because the whole goal today to kick this thing off, and it only ramps up from here, is I wanted you to know exactly what makes you unique. I wanted you to know where your zone of genius lies. And I want you to have a clear picture of how you want the market talking about you, because now that's how you have to show up. That is what we're talking about with a personal brand. So, quick recap. Matt, what's your uniqueness?
I'm an authentic, hardworking expert.
And a lover of Corvettes. That's your uniqueness.
Lover Corvettes.
What's your zone of genius? What do you do as well as anyone in the market?
My zone. Oh, what did we say on that?
Multi-year strategies.
Yes, multi-year strategy, which actually I'm going to argue I'd like to pivot that and make it modernizing the insurance industry with technology. Because
So technology, modern technology. Boom. What are your first 2 words on your zone core 4?
first 2 words.
Hardworking.
Yes.
Okay. Do you have the other 2 yet?
Yes, I do.
right.
So I chose expert and family man. So
There you
all
go.
my LinkedIn post content, it's all going to evolve around those core 4.
Your LinkedIn now you're getting the point. That content's got to follow along that brand. Nick, what's your uniqueness? What makes you unique?
Travel.
Love to travel. What's your zone of genius?
Pointing out gaps in coverage.
Policies and gaps in policies. And what's your core 4?
Honest, reliable, passionate, and knowledgeable.
Boom. Love it. Jeff, what makes you unique?
I won and lost a long time ago.
Lacrosse is in the blood of your family, and your lacrosse it's in your blood, and it's what you do. You've won some state titles and national titles, but you also lost some. What's your zone of genius?
Communication.
Making the complex simple. And what's your core 4?
Reliable, humble, and honest. I got to come up with a
Hey,
4th.
if it's a core 3, for now, it's a core 3. The point is, guys, now when we prospect, this is what we got to focus on. Your uniqueness, and you'll come up with other stories, is how you differentiate, because it's how people get to know you. Your zone of genius, the more you live there, the better it's going to be, because that's when you're at your best. And now your core 4 is just the way you have to show up to make sure the market does talk about you that way. So my challenge, my homework assignment for you is by Friday, I'd love to see a post on LinkedIn. Not that it has to be all LinkedIn, but make a post on LinkedIn about that unique story and the lesson. What I want you to do is tag Amy and I, or Amy, tag us, just put at my name, at Amy's name, so we see it, and just put it out there. This is your chance to kind of say, hey, I'm letting people get to know me. And by the way, if you haven't done this, Jeff, this is going to be hard for you because you're super humble. Here's what you're going to do with that post. When you're about to hit post, you're going to be like, just hit post, guys. Matt, I want to see a picture of a Corvette, maybe with you in a Corvette or by one. Nick, I want to see a picture of you in Iceland, excuse me.
Sound good?
Jeff, you got any photos of you back in the day playing some lacrosse? Let's get it out there. Now, next week, we dive into who's your ideal prospect. We flip it now. Now we're going to get crystal clear on who you're going after, because the truth is not everybody's a fit for you. So we're going to help you get really clear on who the best fit is for you. Before we leave, any questions you guys want to throw our way right now regarding today's content?
Good.
Was today helpful?
Yes.
Yes.
Sweet. So next week, we're going to build the ideal prospect profile, followed the next week by the prospecting message, and then we just launch from there. So what's going to happen, guys, is after today's call, you will get the recording from Amy. Whenever there'll be some calls, I'll have some templates to give you as well. We'll give you templates to use. But now be on the lookout for messages from Amy to get the recordings. Remember, you don't lose the recordings. We are back on same time, same place next Wednesday. The good news again, when we have a smaller group, guess who you are going to be held accountable by? Yours truly. So I'm checking in on you guys by Friday to make sure that post is done. Because my failure for me is if I get you guys excited and you do nothing with it, I have failed. We have failed. We want to make sure what you're learning, you're putting into place right away. All right, guys, if you got no questions, I will let you rock. We will see you next week.
Thank you.
That's great. Thanks, everyone.
Bye,
Have a
guys.
good one. See you guys.